Near Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you are joining us. I am your host and guide, Katie Milton Jordan, and we are here for our weekly free AI action class. And at the moment, we are currently going through the book, What Works? So, this is a comprehensive framework to change the way we approach goal setting by Tara McMullen. Let's get into it. This is your reminder that our AI action class teaches AI fluency, not the book. We use Tara McMullen's framework to practice building and using AI workflows. If you find these ideas valuable, please support the author and read her original work. Let's take a look at our AI action class agenda. Every AI action class follows the same agenda. We spend some time in the beginning introducing the book and the concepts that we'll be studying. We spend some time diving into those concepts at a high level, as well as some AI best practices. And then we take the majority of our time together to learn and apply by doing with AI. Then we like to come back into community and share insights, answer questions, resources, so on and so forth. But let's take a look at the 5 steps that are in this workshop series. So our workshop 1 focused on values, naming the 3 core values that should drive how you spend your time, replacing borrowed cultural defaults. Workshop 2 was about vision, build a multidimensional picture of how you want to feel and what you want to experience. And today in workshop 3, we're going to take a look at commitments. We're going to replace achievement goals with present tense growth commitments that your real life can hold. Next week's action class is going to be on strategic priority. Choose one path up the mountain for now and be honest about what gets sequenced out. And our 5th and final workshop in this series is going to be on projects. Translate everything into a 90-day stack of 3 to 5 scoped projects with a follow-through system. So here are our 5 workshops. We get to take a little closer look at the goals, key topics, and deliverables in each workshop. And today in workshop 3, we're going to be working towards a commitments charter. So the goal is to replace achievement-oriented goals with present tense growth commitments that fit our real capacity. So our key topics, we're going to cover achievement versus practice orientation, the spoon theory and capacity, fascinating, commitments as identity statements, why commitments survive setbacks, and recovery moves when you break them. Recovery moves when you break them. It's my first day reading today, clearly. The deliverable we're going to be working towards today is creating a commitments charter. This is a 3 to 5 present tense commitments with the identity each supports, the daily practice it implies, and a capacity check. Capacity check is going to be important. So here illustrated on your screen is a picture or an actual AI workflow. And this is your weekly reminder that an AI workflow is a long prompt, but a long prompt isn't necessarily an AI workflow, because when we create our AI workflows, we bake in some special ingredients that allow these AI workflows to operate at top capacity. So for example, we bake in run this workflow step by step so that the AI that we're working with knows to ask us these questions one at a time, and it will dynamically change its responses to us based on the context that we give it. We also bake in some guardrails so that AI doesn't go off the tracks and drag us down a rabbit hole that's not relevant to the deliverable that we are trying to create. Now, let's get into our public drive so we can access today's workflow. Please go to bit.ly/AI formula and look for our What Works AI action class. So in this folder, you will see a variety of action classes and resources. You're going to want to go to the What Works AI action class, and you're going to want to take a look at workshop 3. And before we do that, I want to offer a few best practice reminders. It's always best to work on your own life work or project. Bring a real business or life challenge, bottleneck, or pain point. Make sure that when you're using these workflows that you have an emotional stake in the outcome of whatever you're going to be creating. And the reason why that's important is because you're going to give the AI even better feedback and context when you're working on a real challenge instead of a theoretical or hypothetical one. And the bonus is that you actually get a deliverable at the end of it. So not only do you learn by doing, but you also get ahead when you partner with these AI tools. Remember that this is your time to learn and explore both the concepts in the book that we're using as our focus, as well as your AI fluency. Remember that if you can't think of answers, ask the AI to make suggestions based on what it knows about you or based on best practices. If you get stuck, remember to speak to the AI as though you were giving instructions to an in-person assistant. And of course, I'm here to help you if you get stuck as well. So let's go take a look at workshop 3. I like to encourage people to read the introductory headline and paragraph and quickly skim each one of the steps in this workflow because it helps us begin to get our head in the right place for how we're going to work with this agent and potentially respond to these questions. So this is our commitments charter, and we're instructing the AI to act as a commitments coach and an expert in the principles from What Works, a comprehensive framework to change the way we approach goal setting by Tara McMullen. So we are working on make commitments. This is the practice of replacing achievement-oriented goals, which end or fail, with present tense growth commitments that compound and survive setbacks. So we're going to work through this in a structured process. Again, the structured process is one of the special ingredients that we bake into this workflow to make sure that AI doesn't take us somewhere that is not relevant to the work that we're doing. And the goal is to have a finished commitments charter by the end. So let's take a look at the steps we're going to work through. So step 1, we're going to pull forward values and vision. Commitments do not get invented. They get surfaced from the values and vision already named. And if you recall, we created our values and vision in last week's workshop. So this is building on what we did last week. Step 2, we're going to surface our candidate commitments. Okay, so it offers some examples. This is new language for me, candidate commitments. What is that? Yeah, I haven't heard those two words put together exactly like that. So here are some examples. Stay connected, tell the truth, be on top of things, lead with curiosity, honor my body. Okay. Then we're going to look at step 3, test for present tense practice quality. Okay, so lose 20 pounds is a goal, honor my body is a commitment. Okay, so we have an opportunity today to learn some new things by working with AI. Step 4 is going to be a capacity check. So be honest about how many commitments my real life can hold and what each one requires day to day. Then step 5, we're going to write the commitment statements. And in our final step, we are going to have our commitments charter. Okay, this sounds a little bit motivational. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste everything in this document. And you can see we already have run this workflow step by step baked into this. And I'm going to be using Codex today. So you guys can see how I operate Codex on my desktop. Read the Chief of Staff documents and get ready to participate in an AI action class. I have a prompt for you that we will run together. Okay, so Codex is connected to my desktop to a very specific file structure that contains probably about 6,000 files that help the AI. It's essentially my AI's brain that tells it everything about my life and business. And I have plenty of agents that help me run a lot of those processes inside my life and business baked into its brains. So it's reading the Chief of Staff documents, which works like a master triage file that tells the codex everything that it needs to know about this ecosystem, everything it needs to know about me and the work that I do. So you can see it's going through, it's running some commands, it's reading some documents. Now it's thinking, so it's applying its logic and reasoning lens to our next steps so that it has the context in order to help create an incredibly valuable deliverable for me using our prompt today. Okay, so it finally found the chief of staff, right? See, like right here, it's like looking through the fridge, trying to find that missing jar of pickles that, we got as a gift last Christmas. So now it's found the chief of staff. We've got historical sales and strategy material because this is running my business in addition to my human operating system. So the AI action classes that we complete every week are deliverables that get fed into my human operating system that allows me to be a better leader in this AI moment and also to be mindful of my human capacity, because AI will always outwork us and we should not even try to compete. We need to recognize what we do best as humans and leverage AI to do what it does best as a machine. So it has confirmed that it understands all of this and it says, send me the prompt. Actually, all I need to do is paste the prompt because it already says run this step by step. So I'm going to go ahead and paste our AI action class prompt in here. And now it's going to walk me through the steps. Okay, so we're working on our commitments, our commitment strategist for workshop 3. The core move today is goals are future tense and achievement oriented. They either end or fail. Interesting. Commitments are present tense practices. They compound. A good commitment can be practiced today, survives a bad week, and fits your actual capacity. We'll move through 5 steps. Pull forward the values and vision, surface candidate commitments, test for present tense practice quality, check capacity, write the final commitment statement. And it's asking, do you want a short primer on achievement versus practice orientation, spoon theory, and the difference between a goal and commitment, or would you rather jump right in? Yes, I would like a short primer, and I'm curious if the spoon theory is one I already know or if this is a new idea. Okay, spoon theory. Yes. Okay. This is what I was kind of suspecting it. Spoon theory may be one you've heard before, especially if you've spent time around chronic illness, disability, neurodivergence, burnout, or energy management conversations. And I feel like that's like who in today's modern world doesn't have one or several of those. Like this is just the water we swim in now. So the idea comes from Christine Misorandino, who used spoons as a metaphor for daily capacity. Imagine you wake up with a certain number of spoons. Every action costs some: getting dressed, answering email, driving, making decisions, managing emotions, showing up for people. Some people wake up with fewer spoons. Some days give you fewer than others. Once the spoons are gone, they're gone. In this workshop, the point is not the spoon metaphor. The point is capacity. A goal often ignores capacity. I'm going to publish every day. I'm going to work out 5 times a week. I'm going to rebuild my whole operating system this quarter. A commitment has to live inside real capacity. Honor my body, tell the truth early, keep a clear lane, return to the page. Achievement orientation says I am satisfied when I hit the outcome. Practice orientation says I'm satisfied because I am living the way I said I wanted to live. So today we're looking for commitments that can be practiced today, don't have a finish line, support an identity that you actually want, and do not require a fantasy version of your life to keep them. Yes, let's jump into step 1. I like this. This has already got me feeling excited. So step 1, we're going to bring our existing raw material into the room. Commitments do not get invented from scratch. They get surfaced from your values and vision. Answer these as best you can. Rough answers are welcome. What are the 3 values from your value compass? If you did not complete workshop 1, give me a best guess version. What are 1 to 3 identities from your vision map that you most want to lean into? If you did not complete workshop 2, name the identities anyway. Of these identities, which one feels most undersupported in your current daily life? Which value is most at risk of slipping if you do not make a conscious commitment to it? Okay. Okay, so I did complete workshops 1 and 2, and I think I fed those deliverables into you, and they are likely stored in my personal operating system. Can you take a look and see if you can find those? And if you can't, answer these questions based on what you know about me. And again, this is an example of how we can partner with AI to make something that might be a heavier emotional lift a little bit lighter. Sometimes completing business or personal development books and following their advice can feel shameful or judgmental. And when we use AI to help us fill in those blanks, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly feel lighter about it. I feel less judged and less shameful. So it's looking in my operations system for workshop 1 and 2. Great. I found my workshop 2 vision map, the deliverable that I created last week. I did not find a separate finished workshop 1 values compass, but the vision map includes the anchoring values. So we have enough real source material to continue. So your anchoring values are sovereignty, integrity, and authenticity and fun. Yep, that's correct. So the note in the vision map says that sovereignty is the North Star, integrity, authenticity, and fun are the guardrails. Enoughness is the emotional definition. Great. So for the 1 to 3 identities you most want to lean into, I would say the sovereign builder, the embodied woman, and the playful explorer, singer, and creative self. So the identity that feels most under-supported in this daily life is likely the embodied woman, closely followed by the playful explorer, singer, creative self. The vision map says health and movement are still too easy to treat as when there's time. That is true. And play still needs structural permission. So the raw material, so we've got our values, we've got our lean into identities, we've got our most under-supported identity and most at-risk value. Yes, that feels like exactly the right material. Let's proceed. Okay, answer what you can. And again, we're going to ask AI to answer these questions based on what it knows about us, because with 6,000 files on my desktop, it should be able to give me some good answers. Step 2, we're going to generate more commitments than we'll keep. No pressure to be polished here. We're looking for phrases that have a pulse. Interesting. Okay, so for each value, what present tense phrase would express it as a way of being? Sovereignty, I belong to myself. Integrity, build cleanly. Authenticity, tell the truth. Fun, make room for delight. For each lean into identity, what commitment could that identity naturally make? Sovereign builder, embodied woman, playful explorer, or singer creative self? Which areas of your life are currently leaking the most? Body, relationships, money, focus, fun, rest, creative expression, or something else? All of the above. Is there a commitment you have made and broken before that you would like another run at? What would have to change for this time to be different? Okay. So some feedback on the values. For sovereignty, belong to myself doesn't actually feel like the right phrase. I mean, yes, belong to myself, but I'm associating sovereignty with more freedom or liberty, because right now I feel like a lot of items in my environment make me feel trapped, or that I'm tolerating things. So can we come up with a better phrase for that? Also for integrity, I don't really build cleanly doesn't resonate for me, because I don't identify as a builder, even though that is what I do with AI. I identify more as a leader. So I think lead with integrity and be in integrity, like a state of being. Authenticity, telling the truth is too small of a definition for that, because authenticity is like belonging to myself. Like I belong to my own self identity, and I honor that with integrity by showing up as who I am, warts and all. And fun is definitely make room for delight, but we might pivot this to an expectation of micro moments of joy, because I think that those micro moments of joy help us manage self-expectations in a healthier way. So that's my feedback on those. Answer the rest of the questions based on that input and what you know about me. There we go. Okay, the feedback sharpens the whole thing. Okay. Sovereignty, create room to choose, right? It's like the preserving opportunities. This catches the I don't want to feel trapped by tolerated things. It's less abstract than belong to myself and more active without becoming a task list. Integrity, lead in integrity, not build cleanly. You're right. Your native identity is a leader, operator, teacher, not builder, even though building is one of my methods. Authenticity, honor my real identity. Bigger than tell the truth. This is not about editing yourself down to the useful, impressive, easy to consume version. Fun, make room for moments of joy. This feels right. Small, repeatable, humane. Joy is regulation, not reward. So, values based commitments, create room to choose. Ooh, I like that. Untangle what traps me, stop tolerating what drains me, lead in integrity, stay aligned before I expand, honor my real identity, show up as myself, make room for moments of joy. So identity-based commitments lead from overflow, not depletion, for the sovereign leader who refuses to let meaningful work consume the whole life. Protect the body that carries me, for the embodied woman who treats health as home base, not repair work. Practice joy in small doses. Let myself be fully human. Leak closers, close the energy leaks. I love these expressions because they're really landing with me as not only inspiring, but also practical. Choose fewer live lanes. Yes. Give love protected time. Move before I am desperate for body and regulation. Rerun candidates. Keep promises to myself. This feels like the old one that may have been broken before, but it needs gentleness. It cannot become another shame machine. Return without drama. This may be the recovery-friendly version. The commitment is not never fall off, but come back quickly and kindly. I like that. How many of these am I supposed to pick? Am I supposed to pick one from each category? All right. Looks like I missed those instructions from the AI because there were several that I liked. No, you do not have to pick one from each category. These categories are just a way to generate a wide enough menu. By the end, you're aiming for 3 to 5. A good set usually has one commitment that protects your core way of being, one that protects your body or capacity, one that protects your work-life boundaries, and maybe one that protects joy, creativity, or relationships. So it's saying, let's use these 5 to 7 phrases, then we'll test them and narrow down to 3 to 5. So create room to choose, lead in integrity, honor my real identity, make room for moments of joy, protect the body that carries me, choose fewer live lanes, return without drama. Thank you for that explanation. Yes, I agree. Proceed. Okay, now we're going to treat these 7 as our working shortlist. And now in step 3, we're going to test whether these are true commitments or disguised goals. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses across this matrix and a lot of strong in the notes, but I'm also seeing choose fewer lanes, mostly no finish line. Okay, good, but a little tactical. Could be a practice under create room to choose. Okay, good point. My recommendation, none of these fail, but choose fewer live lanes may be more of a strategy than a core commitment. It might belong underneath create room to choose. So the survivors I'd carry forward are create room to choose, lead in integrity, honor my real identity, make room for moments of joy, protect the body that carries me, return without drama. Yes, I'm kind of on the fence about your statement about choose fewer live lanes. I do believe that it naturally nests underneath create room to choose, but that specific phrase really resonates for me. So can we add it as a tagline in create room to choose? So for example, it would be create room to choose, choose fewer live lanes. Okay, that's the right move. So it becomes create room to choose fewer live lanes. This also feels like something that I can repeat as a mantra when somebody's asking me to do something that I do not have the capacity to say yes to. Sovereignty is not just a feeling of freedom. It is actively reducing the number of things that have a claim on you at once. So updated survivors. Now step 4 is capacity. Great, proceed. Capacity. So we're looking at the commitment, the identity it supports, the daily or weekly practice, and the capacity cost. So my sovereign leader identity requires disappointing good ideas and good people, requires tolerating not right now. Okay, I'm willing to pay that price. My wise field builder sovereign leader to lead in integrity requires slower yeses, requires naming misalignment earlier. Okay, I'm with that. I'm willing to do that. Honor my real identity, that my whole self, authentic leader. This capacity cost requires vulnerability, may cost approval from people who preferred the edited version. I'm willing to pay that price. Make room for moments of joy. The playful explorer, singer, creative self requires believing joy counts even when nothing is finished. Ooh, that already feels like a tough one for me to believe. So that's indicating to me that I have some limiting beliefs around that. Protect the body that carries me. My embodied woman identity requires not treating your body as the overdraft account for the mission. Ooh, that will be a tough one. That one's pretty deeply ingrained. My integrated self requires giving up the emotional intensity of all or nothing resets. And I feel like my neurodivergence really leans into that. So that may be a challenge as well. But those three jump out to me. So if I had to cut three, I would keep create room to choose, protect the body that carries me, and make room for moments of joy. If I had to keep five, create room to choose, lead in integrity, and I'd make return without drama the recovery role for the whole charter, not a separate commitment. Okay. Yes. Let's try it. Let's do the 5 and make return without drama the recovery rule for the whole charter, not a separate commitment. I want to preserve my options. After all, I am a sovereign leader. I want all the things, even though I feel like the meta lesson in this workflow is that I need to figure out, I need to name misalignment earlier. But I've got it down to 5, right? 3 would be better, but 5 is good. So step 5, we lock the wording and make each commitment real enough to live. Okay, so we are on step 5 of 6. And so our next step is going to be our final deliverable. Okay, here's the first draft of the commitment statements. Create room to choose fewer live lanes. On a Monday morning, you look at the week and name what is actually live. You pause the extra idea, the optional build, or the this would be amazing lane before it becomes another invisible obligation. That is going to be tough to do because today I already want to write a press release agent, and it's important, but probably not urgent. Ask what can move to later without betraying the mission. Probably the press release agent, but I also really want it. Lead in integrity. Before saying yes, sending the email, pricing the offer, or making the call, you pause long enough to ask whether the move is clean, ethically, relationally, financially, energetically, and spiritually. Okay, common temptation, moving fast because you can already see the path, even when part of you knows there's an unspoken alignment. Recovery move, name the misalignment plainly, and make the smallest clean correction. I already want to make some changes to this one. Honor my real identity. Wow. You let the real Katie enter the room. Smart, direct, funny, intense, tender, opinionated, musical, tired, sometimes brilliant, sometimes unfinished, always. You do not shrink yourself into only the useful or impressive version. Common temptation, recovery move. Ask, what did I just hide? Then restore one honest piece. Okay, that feels helpful. Make room for moments of joy. You sing one song, walk in a thrift store for 15 minutes, notice a beautiful object, ride the bike, take the scenic route, make the coffee feel special, or let a tiny adventure count. The temptation is treating joy as something you earn after the work is done, which means joy never gets a real appointment. Recovery move, choose one small joy that takes less than 10 minutes and let it count. Protect the body that carries me, drink the water, take the walk, stretch before the next task, eat something with protein, go outside, sleep instead of squeezing out one more deliverable, or stop treating pain and depletion as background noise. The temptation is spending your body as the overdraft account for meaningful work, and the recovery move is what would help my body trust me again today, then do the smallest version. Recovery rule, return without drama. When you miss one, you do not perform a restart ceremony. You do not turn the lapse into a character indictment. You take the smallest next action and come back. Yes, I really like this. The only feedback and edits would be in number 2, lead in integrity. I feel like I have a really strong integrity muscle when it comes to ethically, relationally, and even to a certain extent financially. I think that where I'm currently abandoning myself and the muscle that needs to get stronger is energetically and spiritually, and perhaps a little bit of financially, so that I don't use thrift shopping as a coping mechanism. But I think that I should strengthen those other muscles in that integrity practice instead of naming all of them. Okay. And now I think it's going to move that into the commitment is not become ethical, because that is not the gap. The gap is self integrity around energy, spirit, and enoughness. So lead in integrity before saying yes, adding a task, extending the workday, spending money for a quick emotional lift, or overriding your own inner signal. You pause long enough to ask, is this in integrity with my energy, my spirit, and my enoughness? The common temptation is using competence, urgency, or a small purchase to push past what your inner life already knows. Recovery move, name the self-abandonment without shame, and make the smallest aligned correction. Great. So here's our updated set. And are these the commitments? Yes, these are the ones. Proceed with our final deliverable. Can you turn it into an HTML file, please? Okay. So now it's generating my HTML file, and it's going to file this in my existing personal strategy project. So it stays with workshops 1 and 2, and it's going to use it in the chief of staff house style. So I already have a house style that's defined in my operating system so that all of my deliverables match that brand design. And it's saying where it's going to save it on my desktop, so that in the future, these workflows and my agents can access this information about me and help hold me accountable to the commitments that I am making. So if we want to see what the AI is doing, let's see if we can expand this guy. Yep, it opens it over here. So it's, well, no, it's working. And so it's not going to let us see it until it's done. So I'm not sure if these are token counts that are happening right here, or what's going on. But we will let it do its work for a minute or two, and I can respond to questions while the agent is working. So let's go back into our room. Karen, how did that land for you?
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was great. I was laughing. I was not at you, with you. I really loved the idea before the whole actual work of the chief of staff framing. I've had like an about me and whatever else, but I really love the whole, it feels like it's more robust as a chief of staff structure. I really love her work. I really love this idea about commitments and not goals. And you can see, and it's kind of like, no, but I've just got to finish the thing, and then I can, when you arrive, but then when you arrive, you can't actually celebrate the thing because we're all so caught up in it anyway, and it's ubiquitous and threaded through so many things. But this was so enlightening, and I really wanted to do mine, but I thought I'd just watch you do yours. So yeah, no, it's fantastic, isn't it?
I know, I totally agree. And I really like this author's work. I almost feel like this could be helpful to do this again, because I almost feel like it can help you surface even more insights, the next round. But the themes of this book are really resonating for me. And I like the language that the AI is giving me, because it feels more practical and usable to where I'm at in this life season. So I've been really pleased with it as well.
Can I ask, when you do the replays are they available on YouTube?
Yep, my entire AI action class series is all available in YouTube, and I've grouped them together as playlists for each workshop series. So when you look in the public drive, if there is an action class that you're interested in, just look for that on my YouTube channel, and then you can redo whatever that book was.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like it gave me my deliverable. So let's take a look at what it gave me here. And okay, here is our commitments charter. Okay, very nice. See, here's my internal house style. So this is a 90-day practice charter for replacing achievement pressure with present tense commitments that protect sovereignty, integrity, identity, joy, and the body that carries the mission. What a beautiful statement. Here are anchors. This charter pulls forward the values and identities named in the vision map and turns them into a daily, weekly practice that can survive real capacity. So it's saying I should revisit this in September. And if I were worried about making SMART goals, I would probably attach a trigger or a deadline or something to that. But I'm not there yet. So this is going to sit in my files, and we're going to see how AI helps me do it. The commitments, each commitment, here's our commitment 1, create room to choose. Commitment 2, lead in integrity. Commitment 3, honor my real identity. Commitment 4, make room for moments of joy. Commitment 5, protect the body that carries me. And these cards feel really beautiful. Like, I feel like I could already see them printed on index cards and laminated and, drop them around my house somewhere to help me remember these commitments. We have our recovery rules. So this rule belongs to the whole charter. It keeps a missed practice from becoming a full restart story. So if and when these commitments get off track, I come back to the recovery rule, return without drama. Then we have our capacity acknowledgement saying the trade, fewer active lanes, more honest signals, and less reset drama. So I really like how AI laid this out visually, because it's also helping me better understand how each one of these elements supports the dynamic of this commitment charter. Now it feels like it's in 3D almost. So wow, that was fantastic. I liked that one. Karen, what did you think about the final deliverable?
Yeah, I love it. I also agree when the AIs put it into those kind of layouts, and especially if you can find a layout that you like and then make sure it delivers it in those layouts, I just find it's a lot easier to assimilate and understand, because I'm visual too. So I find that, yeah, really helpful. Really, really
Excellent.
helpful. Yeah.
Good to hear it. Well, are there any questions I can answer for you, or any challenges you feel are blocking your next steps?
No, I think you've already helped me, because I think the chief of staff thing is actually the thing, which I know this video wasn't about, but for me also, sometimes I'm pulling lots of different parts of my life together. And sometimes when I'm working one part, the AI is like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, right, hang on. So I have to go back and sort out the foundation to make sure that it can come from the whole context when I want the whole context, so that it can feed through into, and then actually then doing this work will feed back into that foundation and then build and enrich in it. And I completely
Yes.
understanding. I love it. Thank you.
Yep. Definitely. No, that's a good point. And we do have other education available if you want to take that leaning further. I'd be happy to visit with you offline about that. But
Oh,
yeah, excellent. Excellent. Well, cool. Then we have about 2 minutes, 3 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm happy to hang out and answer any questions that you might have, or brainstorm things that can support you, or I'm happy to give you 3 minutes back in your day.
do I have any questions? Okay, well, well, we can cover it all. I'll ask you about you've already set it up, the AI, so that it will, because sometimes I find that I'm creating lots of things, and then I'm not quite organized in where they go and what they do and what they feed back into. And I think that's in the foundational setup, but maybe that's useful to kind of touch on now in 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the way that we do our organization and our folder structure. We have specific infrastructure that goes underneath the agents and the LLMs that we're running. And strange but true, one of the biggest challenges is keeping it all organized, because now that we can create infinite deliverables, like I said, I have like close to 7,000 files on my desktop. Like that's a project that needs to be managed, and it's like a garden. You need to weed, seed, and feed it constantly. So yeah, I'll do I have your email address, Karen? Do you want to pop it in the chat just so that it
Sure.
doesn't get shared publicly on YouTube? I mean, you're welcome to do that if you don't mind other people having it, but if you pop it in the chat, I can
So
send you
if
a
I
note.
put it in the public chat, it's not going to go worldwide.
Correct, because the public chat doesn't get sent to YouTube, just the recording. We want to be extra mindful about where our data is going, right? In
Yes. No, I
this
get
day
it.
and age. Okay, excellent.
There it is.
Thank you. Great. I have got that, and I will drop you a note.
Fantastic. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. I really enjoy these AI action classes. If they didn't hold me accountable to working on these things, all I would be doing is working on my CEO operating system
I love it. Oh my
and
gosh.
not my human operating system, and both deserve
Yeah, that's it.
attention, right?
Need water, stretching, get outside, see the sky. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Well,
Thank
excellent, Karen. You
you.
have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week if we don't manage to connect sooner.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Great day. Bye bye.
You too.